It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to one and all.
And being that this is our Christmas show, I think we have to start out with this story that came out from Great Britain.
Okay.
And that is that Santa Claus is too white and has no right to judge children as to whether they are naughty or nice.
Okay.
Santa has been dragged into the culture wars after a museum declared that he is too white and should stop sitting in judgment over children's behavior. Well, you can't catch a lot of sun in the North Pole.
It's just the way it is.
I just love this one. I just love the way this is the Daily Mail UK, the way they write this. In a startling intervention.
I love that.
Ahead of Christmas.
Startling. Gary, there are people who are startled over this.
This has shaken the world to the core.
I come from a long line of startlers. I'm fairly startled. I don't know about you.
Grappling and startled.
Startling. We're
Just love that
doing
one.
some startling.
No over-the-top rhetoric there.
Yeah, right.
In a startling intervention ahead of Christmas. Startling.
Stop the presses. For those under 90, presses used to be when they used to put the stuff on paper, and then they would take it to people, and they would look at that paper, and there would be words on it. It's
startling.
It's startling. I have to say I'm startled. I will say this. I do have a complaint about the whole Santa thing. It's more really about the song, Here Comes Santa Claus. You know, or Santa Claus is coming to town. It's one of those. He sees you when you're sleeping. Anyone who watches you while you're sleeping is a creep.
Maybe they hit that in here. I'm not sure here, but the museum argued that Santa Claus must be decolonized in the name of diversity, claiming his traditional role reinforces damaging ideas about power, authority, and Western superiority. The claim appears in a blog post published by the museum's website, which suggested Santa's familiar naughty and nice routine promotes a Western binary and casts the bearded gift giver as a global moral judge.
You know, here's why this is anything but startling. This is actually inevitable.
Yeah, it is.
Because they're judging this, of course, as the far left radical liberal minds do, the binary, right? Whether you're naughty or nice.
Right.
Because they have blurred that line between good and evil to the extent now that they're cheering on people who gun down healthcare CEOs in cold blood.
Right. I mean, there should be an exception to the rule. Santa should be able to rule you nice if you commit the right murders.
Exactly.
And then they say it right here. Here we go. For many children, the story of Santa Claus is as much a part of Christmas as gifts and Christmas dinner, but the tale of a white Western Santa who judge at Western, he's sort of north.
Yeah, exactly.
But the tale of a white Western Santa who judges all children's behavior has problems. Museum chiefs went even further, questioning Santa's right, whether Santa has a right to assess children across different cultures and traditions.
This is where we introduce another really pillar of the liberal mindset. He has no right to judge you because what is the effect of that judgment? The effect of that judgment is whether or not you get something, right? Whether you get a gift. If you're naughty, you're not getting no gift. So what they're saying here is you have a right to the gift. he has no right to judge you. Again, one of the pillars of the liberal mindset. You have a right to other people's things or things in general just because you exist.
Are all the kids asleep now? Because where it got me is where museum chiefs went further, questioning Santa's right to assess children.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do they know the whole concept of Santa? When we talk about who has rights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Here's
but questioning. I'm not going to go any further on that.
Yeah.
Questioning Santa's right to assess children. As he visits each nation, he determines if the children deserve presents based on being naughty or nice, the blog added. But did these people write this? Were they sitting in a room and were they serious about this, or were they chuckling the entire time?
No, there has to be, honestly, there has to be a couple of people in the room that are, as they're putting this together going, no, look, I'm writing it, and they're all laughing, and we're going to send it out. We're going to post it. It's actually going to go up like this.
But who decided Santa should be the judge of children's behavior in every community? How can he assess, for example, indigenous children practicing their own cultural traditions? Told like this, the story presents Santa as the ultimate authority of all. Santa's a fascist.
Yes.
Told like this, the story presents Santa as the ultimate authority of all societies. This asks us to accept colonial assumptions of cultural superiority.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. If Santa were the Grinch, they would be pressing for no bail, right?
Right.
Bail reform.
Right.
We got to get him right back on the streets. And we would be defending him because, according to, people like AOC, he's just trying to feed his family. He's the Grinch. Santa, while guilty of breaking and entering, countless counts of breaking and entering, actually leaves you things and improves your life. I'm guessing you want that remote control car, and then disappears without a trace. In fact, it's not breaking and entering. It's just simply entering.
Well, remember, the Grinch came down to Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah.
To Cindy Lou Who's house.
Right.
And so the Grinch really should have gone to jail for that. But from what I know, this museum is suggesting that Cindy Lou Who go to jail.
Yes, she's the bad one.
She's the oppressor.
And of course,
the Grinch.
The
Grinch is good. Cindy Lou Who, she's the problem.
Well, and he also had the problem with putting the Grinch behind prison bars is the fact that he had an ailment. He had an enlarged heart in the very end. You're not going to. What's the use of putting him in jail?
I just love this. Let me see here. Parents, the museum urged, should actively challenge the colonial gaze by abandoning the idea of Santa Claus rewarding children based on a Western binary of naughty and nice. Focus on bringing joy to kids of all backgrounds rather than judging them. By the way,
should we clarify?
By the way, that's all parents do is judge their children.
Well, yeah, it is.
Which is the right thing to do.
And also a clarification. As you read this again, this is coming from the Sun.
The Sun had it originally. It was reposted by everybody.
Right. Okay. So colonial gaze. That's GAZE. Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear. It's because it's not GAYS.
Oh yes,
the colonial gaze.
Oh yes.
I don't even. I
didn't know where you were going at first.
Right. I was just wanted to clarify that for the audience.
Instead, families are encouraged to reinvent Santa as a symbol of cultural exchange rather than discipline. Have Santa learn about different cultures rather than judge them, it recommended. Stories could show him experience. My God, they take the damn fun out of everything.
Oh, yeah.
Stories could show him experience in their traditions, emphasize. Well, Santa does.
Yeah.
He comes down the chimney and stuffs himself with cookies and milk.
Right.
I mean, that's my culture. That's my tradition.
Right.
Santa is reflecting my culture and my tradition.
Right.
Don't steal. Don't murder.
Right.
Eat cookies and milk.
Right. And these are cookies that were made for him and left out for him, by the way. Not like these weird burglars who break into someone's house and drink a beer and make a sandwich while they're there.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Include people from around the world in Santa's workshop. This acknowledges global output. Put Santa to work in the factory alongside the elves. This shows him and the elves as equal. And furthermore, the blog floated the idea of replacing Santa Claus completely. Santa could become Mother Christmas. An inclusive adaptation could include many Santas from different religions, include some Mother Christmases. Patriarchy and colonialism went hand in hand, show the next generation that men don't have to be in charge. Well, they weren't. Mrs. Claus was always in charge.
Yeah.
She was always the one disciplining Santa.
Right.
The suggestions were met with criticism, with critics branding the document laughable and accusing the museum of competing for the title of Grinch of the year. Wow. One critic said, I don't think children in non-Christian countries are going to object when Santa pops down their chimney and gives them a present. Is this museum suggesting they should leave a note saying, sorry, but this is a decolonized fireplace with white supremacists dressed in red aren't welcome? If so, should we rename itself the Right On and good God, I mean, the stuff, I can't read that there.
Yeah.
The director of Don't Divide Us was equally scathing. The idea that Santa Claus needs to be decolonized is laughable. It also shows that there are no limits to what ideologies and cultural institutions will go in seeking to rupture our sense of belonging to a common past and culture. This plays at the fake radical anti-West politics by museums, and it's boring, tedious, and intellectually horrible. This isn't culture, it's playpen politics, which should not be getting public funding or official endorsement from witless museums. The museum could get Grinch of the Year award, all right. So there you go.
Well, I mean, the real St. Nicholas, the 4th century Greek bishop, this is who was known for generosity. This is where the name comes from. Coca-Cola changed it in the 30s when it turned into a fat guy in a red suit. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, asked me one time. She said, "Dad, is this the Coca-Cola Santa Claus?" Because you remember all that, because that was they really. I don't know who the original artist was, but back in the day, I mean, they just had this, and it's a great illustration of Santa Claus. I mean, if you're gonna, but it goes back to that 4th century Greek bishop, Saint Nicholas.
Oh yeah,
and that could be at the core of what this. A liberal attack on Santa Claus is, quite possibly. It's by the way, so easy to pick this apart because, number one, it's stupid. So, and number two, it shows you where the angry left is and also where their morals are.
So it must kill them if they have to watch Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh, my gosh.
When they officially say that Santa does exist.
Yeah.
And everybody in New York City, I'm talking about the one in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Where they open up the windows and
everybody
in Manhattan. It's like Times Square, thousands, millions of people cheering Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Send that to the museums.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys need to watch this.
Well, I mean, then we could go after, it's a wonderful life, Well, it's not a wonderful life.
It's not a wonderful life for everybody.
Where's the money? Where's the money? This is
it's not a wonderful life.
It's a horrible life. And it's, I'm surprised someone hasn't done the parody there in the movie, because they did Scrooged, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies with Bill Murray. But you look at at that mindset of just wanting to tear everything down. Well, with It's a Wonderful Life, this is the problem with big banks and blah, 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 and capitalism and blah, 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 having to depend on money, people having to depend. We need a society where nobody gets paid, no one has money. We all share, kind of like a commune thing. We could probably come up with a name for it. We would be communists. And we wouldn't have to worry about the banks ever running out of money and all of that, and we wouldn't ever have to have any kind of mental health crisis as a result of that, and blah, 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 blah. No property ownership. Oh, wait, we're already there. The liberals have already done that. They've already made that point.
Well, and think about, they could then attack the absolute bigotry and slave mentality of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I mean,
yeah.
the bigotry and racism towards Rudolph was just totally unacceptable, and they only accepted him when they could use him.
Right.
And they really didn't pay him, so the slave mentality was there also.
Right.
And so Rudolph, the Red-Nosed Reindeer, has to go, as well as Burl Ives. I think it was the Santa was Burl Ives. Remember the commercial coming down on the electric razor?
Yeah.
Down as a ski slope.
Right.
But
right.
Oh, my gosh. So,
well, and remember, that would be all female reindeer that were discriminating against little Rudolph, because the male reindeer, they shed their antlers in the winter, and they all had antlers in the story. Big antlers. Those were female. So, ladies, I don't know how you're going to respond to that, but something going on there.
Have we properly destroyed Christmas for everyone now?
Yep.
All right.
And that was our goal for the show, so we're leaving early.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by Hot Shot Secret.
Hi, I'm Jen Loomis, a transport safety expert at JJ Keller. When driving, you need to manage the space around your vehicle so that there's enough space to allow you to adjust when traffic conditions change. The space ahead of your vehicle is the most important. One rule of thumb is to allow at least 1 second for each 10 feet of vehicle length at speeds below 40 miles per hour. At greater speeds, add an additional second. It's impossible to keep other drivers from tailgating you, but there are some things you can do to make it safer, such as increasing your following distance, avoiding quick lane changes, and slowing down. There are also several things you should do to ensure that there is plenty of space between the side of your vehicle and other vehicles. Don't hug the center line, and avoid traveling alongside other vehicles in strong winds. This tip was brought to you by JJ Keller and Associates. Visit us at jjkeller.com.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. It is our Christmas show. Merry Christmas to everyone. Don't worry, it's coming up here in a little bit. I'll try to shorten the guillotine story. I've told it so many times.
Now, take your
years.
time. Take your time. We've already destroyed Christmas, so what's the use?
The best Christmas, the best Christmas present I ever received.
Yeah.
Well, you think about it too. I mean, that probably the left wouldn't be happy with that story. But then I thought about it too. The Christmas story. Christmas story would get just pummeled.
Oh, you kidding me?
For promoting violence.
Second Amendment. I mean, they would
Yeah.
just, no child has a right to a BB gun.
Yeah, the whole
Right.
and see,
Yeah.
he shot his eye out.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there he is, fantasizing of killing people.
Yeah.
They didn't come in his house yet. They were just on his property.
Yeah.
Why was he shooting them?
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, they were dead because you had the big X's on them.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That's how you knew.
And then I just found this out. I didn't know this. Do you know he was actually chewing? Peter Billingsley was actually chewing tobacco when he did that.
Really? Was he?
Yep. He wanted couldn't get the effect that they wanted,
right?
Unless he actually was chewing real tobacco.
Oh my gosh!
So I mean, child abuse. Yeah. You name the
tobacco
stuff.
For a child. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's what I read that.
Yeah,
or I read or saw him say that.
I mean, the left is okay with genital mutilation surgery, but tobacco, no.
You're listening to Red Eye Radio. Season's greetings, the Uniden America Studios.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks so much for being here. You know, you and I were talking about in our pre-show meeting, and it was something outside of Christmas stuff. But this is our last show, and we won't be back until after the New Year, January 5th, I guess, right?
Yeah, the morning
Sunday
of
night,
January
right.
5th, Sunday night, Monday morning.
And so, a lot of headlines yesterday, that, Mamdani, will be in power.
Right.
So, socialism, communism in New York, Seattle, the story about don't forget about what's going on in Seattle, too. These people, the ideas that they have are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking about, with the whole Turning Point thing going on, Ben Shapiro versus Tucker Carlson and Candace Owen and all that. And then the Heritage Foundation, you saw that.
Yeah.
A significant portion of the Heritage Foundation conservative think tank are leaving. Three major sections are leaving and going to Mike Pence's think tank. One of the things they talked about is the fact that they wanted to, inside the Heritage Foundation, this one organization wanted to do the research on how tariffs affect every part of the United States.
Right.
And focus on different industries, and they wouldn't do it. And they just said, look, we're a think tank. We're supposed to be talking about, what government policy does, good or bad.
Right.
We're supposed to do it, and you won't, and that's one of the reasons that they left. But you're having a debate that you and I have been talking about for about 20 years.
Yeah.
It was really about 2006 where we started questioning. We were just together for a very short time. We started questioning where the Republican Party was going. If you've been a long-time listener of the show, we've been screaming about, what is being a conservative today.
Right.
The people that, because we've sat here for such a long time and people have called the show, I'm more conservative than you guys will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I put that accent in there.
I don't know.
But it must be my colonialism bigotry. So the and we would sit and say, okay, let's go through it and go. You're not really a conservative. You're a populist, and you just believe that the person that you're voting for should have more control of policy in the United States instead of the entire government as a whole not having as much power as they have now. But at least the debate, and I think the debate is going to continue to heat up. I mean, I've been impressed as to how quickly this has risen to the top in just the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
What is the Republican Party about? What is a conservative? Does anti-Semitism and racism have any? I can't even believe I'm saying this, but for the sake of the discussion, I must.
Right.
Does anti-Semitism and racism have a place in the Republican Party and or the conservative movement?
Right.
We all know what the answer is.
Right. The answer is no.
Right.
But
I thought it was yes.
It's in the pre-show meeting I said, but it's beyond stupid that we're even having that. It's even a debate, that it's even a question. And like you just said, you can't believe you were even having to ask the question. But that's one of the questions being posed. So a think tank can't go look at the effect on tariffs in different parts of the country, but we can certainly have a discussion of whether bigotry belongs in the group or not. And there's another side to it other than no.
And you shouldn't be criticizing that other side because we're all in it together. No. If you're an anti-Semite, if you're a racist, here's the thing. We just said it. Scott Jennings said it the other day, and it's something that you and I've said for the longest time. And that's why we played the Scott Jennings things, because it mirrored what we've been saying for over a decade, which is on the radical transgender movement. If you believe that a man can be a woman because a man says so, if you completely ignore science, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's not culture.
Right.
It's science.
Yep.
If you believe that a man should be a woman and that men should take away the privacy of women inside of a locker room, then I can't trust you on any other issue.
Right.
And if you're a bigot, if you're a racist, if you're anti-Semitic, you've lost me across the board.
Right.
Because that is so illogical that I can't trust you on any other thing that you say.
Right.
I'm done with you. You're gone.
Right.
It's not that, well, you need to consider that racism is no, because we're not talking about, when we talk about, you can't say anything bad about Israel. You and I could in a second, and nobody would deem us
right
anti-Semitic.
Right.
Because we would be very, very specific as to what policy we disagreed with. There would be no generalities. There would be no, sayings or anti-Semitic tropes that we would put out there. Okay, where are they? I can't tell it. Well, Israel, we would not be generic. Well, Israel does bad stuff. And so what? And so what? Are they committing a genocide? No, they're not. They weren't committing a genocide.
No.
They were responding. And if you imply that, or you imply any of the over the river and through the woods over the sea,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That at that point, I'm done with you.
Right.
I'm done.
Right.
And I don't need to have that discussion. If you want to have the socialism versus capitalism, communism, socialism, capitalism.
Yes.
If you wish to discuss if we should head closer to a plutocracy, if you wish to, I had to throw that word in there. A guy used to say that to us all the time.
Yeah.
You guys are promoting a plutocracy.
Right.
If all those are up for grabs, but I have no tolerance, none. I don't need to be sitting here discussing, well, is racism right at some times? If you don't judge people by individuals, I'm done with you.
Well, and it shows me that you lack critical thinking skills, and it is a great deal of, in fact, ignorance that drives your thought.
Right.
And that, of course, aside from the obvious hatred that's in your heart, I have no place for it, and you have no place at the table with me, or I have no place at your table, and I'm fine with that. Whatever you want to, however anybody wants to phrase it. And again, the fact that we're even having this debate is beyond stupid.
And then to attempt to justify it with some sort of conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at like Candace Owen, it's like, what the hell?
I don't get it. I'll tell you this. The admiration that I have for Erica Kirk and sitting down and having a discussion with Candace Owen grew even more, and I had before that tremendous respect and admiration for what she has done and the strength she has shown in the wake of her husband's assassination. All of this, the fact that if you think about where she is in her life, what her daily life would be, she made time to actually talk with Candace Owen. And I don't think I would have had that. I don't think I would have ever entertained that for a moment, because and again, I'm showing admiration. I'm not criticizing Erica Kirk for this. I'm just saying it takes a great deal of patience and strength, I believe, because I am quick to turn that off and be done with it, because someone like Candace Owen just hasn't earned a place at anybody's table but her own, and that should be a table of one.
And so when you look at the debate going on, even, Shapiro against Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
Which, did you see Tucker Carlson? I don't even know the context of it, but it was like, I wouldn't denounce a family member if they committed murder. It's like, I don't even know where the hell he was going with that one.
Yeah,
I don't even care anymore, because you and I have never been the fan of Tucker Carlson as so many Republicans and conservatives were. We never were to begin with. We always, going all the way back to firing line, way back, I would criticize him. But now he's just gotten quirky and kooky.
Well,
the stuff of malevolent spirits.
Right.
That's what the UFOs are up there. Evil.
Just odd.
Evil. I mean, it's very odd. It's like you're getting into the aspect of conspiracy theories, and then. Again, it's the typical thing of conspiracy theories. I know something that you don't know. Prove that I'm wrong.
Right.
Well, no. You got to prove that you're right.
Right. Exactly.
You make the allegation. You make the proof. But it's the typical conspiracy theory narrative of justification when you can't make a coherent argument.
Well, and just all these little odd things. Not all of them are little, but the series of odd things. Especially here in recent years, and then the one which was just really odd. I'm sorry, Tucker. There is a vast difference between a Tom Thumb or Safeway in the United States and the Safeway in Moscow.
I mean, that was a pure piece of propaganda. That was as good propaganda as I've ever seen from the former Soviet Union.
It was just weird.
It was,
And the activities surrounding it, and that's the thing, is that so much is done for attention. It's not just the attention; it's how that attention is monetized. And you've got to get if you're going to go down that rabbit hole, you better have plenty of rabbit holes to keep that monetization going.
Well, yeah, and what to put it in layperson's terms, there are. We were talking about this off the other day. Are they just looking for clicks?
Right.
So they got to keep getting more radical and
Views
more
and
outrageous and just throw it out. You and I, we've never even thought about, clicks. It's like do a good show, and people will show. And it's that simple.
Do the work,
right.
And that's the difference too. Because if you look at influencers, Charlie Kirk is a great example. Talk about influence. Talk about the word, because influencer, sometimes is somebody, okay, they have a large following, but are they actually influencing, or people just watch? Are they changing hearts and minds is my question, right? If you look at the work of Charlie Kirk, he was doing the work. Not saying you have to agree with 100% of the things he said and the points he made in debates. But from the age of 18, started doing that work and was consistent throughout. And that's why he became such a threat to the left. But there are others on the right who are, that's the other definition of influencer, who aren't necessarily changing hearts and minds, aren't doing the work, they're just getting the attention. And there's a difference, because the outcome ultimately was not about Charlie Kirk getting the attention. It was, for him in his mission statement, about changing hearts and minds, and that's the difference. It wasn't about him. But so much of this feels about the individual, not with everybody involved, but with far too many, and it's just becoming beyond childish and just stupid.
Well, the discussion had to happen inside the Republican Party.
It did.
It had to.
It was inevitable because
it had to happen.
Define a conservative.
Right.
Define a conservative.
So I'm actually happy it's happening.
Oh, no.
A lot of people are, well, we can't have this infighting.
I know.
You have to have
but
it because
the fact that we got here is stupid. Yeah.
Because the Republican Party and being a conservative is about ideas, not personalities.
Exactly.
Not political idolatry.
No, it's not about you. It's about the ideas. Yeah. It's not about any one person.
We are Red Eye Radio.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. So the discussion that will be happening now inside the Republican Party, inside the conservative movement, inside the young conservative movement, which is Turning Point.
Yeah.
Is all good. It was going to happen, and I'm glad it's happening now. And even in think tanks, I'm glad it's happening now because now the Heritage Foundation can look and do research on whether Santa is too white and male and needs to be a more decolonized Santa.
As we said during the pre-show meeting, it's really stupid that these questions have to be asked, but eventually they have to be asked. The debate has to be had, and here we are. It ramped up fairly quickly. I wasn't convinced it would happen before the next presidential election.
Well, it's here not only inside the Republican Party and in the conservative movement, but socialism, communism, capitalism.
You bet.
Top of the Hour News is brought to you by House Products. Visit houseproducts.com.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One. Now, it's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, it's the 23rd.
It is the 23rd.
You know what the 23rd is?
No.
Festivus.
Oh, that's right. How dare I? Yeah, it is. But don't worry, because Gary and I will not be airing any grievances.
That's all we do. We're a Festivus show.
It's nothing but Festivus.
Right.
And it's not for the rest of us. It's only us two.
Right.
You guys just listen.
Every day is not Christmas here, but it definitely is Festivus. The airing of grievances.
That's right.
Somebody sent me there's a parody of a form out there that you can. It's all over the internet. It started a couple of years ago. It's basically your grievances. Air your grievances.
Yeah.
And it's an entire thing about what you fill it out, what your grievances are.
Right.
I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. I don't know if there's an official government agency to give it to. But, sad yesterday when I heard that, because it's one of my favorite Christmas songs, Driving Home for Christmas, that English songwriter and musician Chris Rhea died.
Yeah.
And I got in trouble, too, because I posted on social media that I got into music radio in 1978. Wasn't a good year for music.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good, especially when you were working as I was, the adult contemporary format.
Yeah.
Now, I was just out of college.
Right.
I graduated college.
Yeah, you didn't know any better.
In 77. Well, no, I was looking for my first radio job.
Yeah, right.
Which I lasted, 9 months or something, and then was out for 5 years and got back in 83 and have not been out since. But 78 was a terrible time to basically go through college and the music that you were into completely the opposite of what you end up playing a couple of months after college on the radio.
Yeah.
And, there was, that year, 78, when you're working soft rock, was Babe out then? I don't know if Babe was out that year. Was that?
It was about
Babe might have been 79.
Yeah.
Bluer Than Blue, Michael Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh, I hated that song.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 Ain't Bad by Meatloaf. Oh.
Yeah.
I felt nausea on it. And, they all had the same kind of very, very down, depressed beat to it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
They were, and I was thinking about that in that year, just how bad they were. I'll never forget My Angel Baby, Toby Bow. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Let me see what else was, you had the Andy Gibbs out there.
Well, and during that time, there was a thing going on in Top 40 radio where it was really kind of the ultimate leading up to the death of disco, because the Bee Gees and Andy Gibb basically sounded exactly alike because they were all brothers. And
the Bee Gees were backing Andy Gibb.
Exactly. And they had, at one point, there were the family basically had 4 of the top 10 songs. And it was just so much to handle a lot of people. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, people were burning disco records. But there was a lot of that adult contemporary stuff. The easy listening.
Sometimes when we touch, Dan Hill, remember that?
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Sometimes when we touch.
Yeah.
The something is too much. I
Yeah.
forgot. I don't even know what the lyrics are, but I remember playing that. It was like,
yeah.
And then that's even when the Stones went disco. Remember Miss You?
Oh, yeah.
Remember the Stones went disco at
But
that point?
But somehow they made that work.
Not for me, they didn't.
Yeah. No, I love that song.
Oh, I didn't at all.
And it's just, it was because they made it the Stones. They really didn't. It didn't go full, disco ball.
Shattered, Shadooby Dooby. Sorry.
Yeah, Shattered is.
I didn't play that. That wasn't even played on the station that I was. This was all soft rock. It's a Heartache, Bonnie Tyler. And then Fool, Do You Think It's Over, Chris Rhea. I hated that song. And I hated it because it was in Billy Joel also had Just the Way You Are. Everything was slow.
Yeah.
And just so down. And I would sit there. I was like, if you go to the old WKRP in Cincinnati, Johnny Fever before they went rock and roll, when he was listening to the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, You're Having My Baby.
Yeah,
before they chanted. That's what it was. It was like, you're just like, I can't handle it. So years later, I heard Chris Rhea and Driving Home for Christmas, one of my favorite Christmas songs. The videos on YouTube are great because it shows somebody driving through the snow home for Christmas. And so I love that song, but I got in trouble I got so many people saying, I loved Fool, Do You Think It's Over? And I went, yeah, you didn't play it 1 billion times.
Well, that's the thing, is that it got played 1 billion times because apparently somebody liked it, I mean, that was just kind of the way it was going with a lot of it. I mean, that, I don't know, easy listening crowd. Does that fall into the yacht rock thing now? I don't know, because
know if
there's kind of a fine line of.
Yeah. I haven't figured out the boundary line. I
don't know.
Then there was Paul Davis. I go crazy.
Oh, that's no.
And then remember, that was the year of You Light Up My Life, which I also had to play.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'm amazed I didn't go insane.
Right. Yeah. No, I was already on to Sabbath, AC/DC.
No, I was
Judas Priest.
I was upset that Genesis was going top 40.
Right.
Was going pop after they lost, Gabriel and Hackett.
Right.
I'm like, well, what's this crap?
Right.
So I mean, that's where my head was at. So to hear this, and I'm trying to think. Let me see. Bee Gees, How Deep Is Your Love? Bee Gees, Night Fever. Andy Gibb, Shadow Dancing. This is just in the top 10.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. No, they just dominated.
Yeah, they absolutely. Oh. The Commodores, 3 Times a Lady.
Yeah. No, I love the Commodores.
So do I. I just couldn't handle that song in the mix of all those other songs.
If I'm gonna listen to a ballad by the Commodores, it's gonna be easy. That song I can all day. I can.
As when I worked at the Port Shark for 2 weeks, the disco.
Yeah.
I played all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, and
so we Brick House too.
I was also on to the Isley Brothers. I was on to, because in the 70s we did have a wide range. That's why the charts looked the way they did. The top 40 chart was very diverse. Especially you get into mid to late 70s, all of a sudden you're introducing Kenny Rogers and Alabama country artists, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And Kenny Rogers started as a, kind of a pop artist.
He was in the new Christie Minstrels, wasn't he?
Was he? Yeah. And
or was that Glenn Campbell?
I don't know. I'd have to
No,
look.
Glenn Campbell was.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was Glenn Campbell. He may have played on a session with him. I don't know. It's
and Kenny Rogers in the first edition.
the first edition, and but he was going. He was kind of a mix between. He was a real crossover artist. I mean, Lionel Richie wrote one of his big songs. Speaking of the Commodores, but there was this wide-ranging, very, very wide-ranging list of songs on a top 40 station, and then it started to get into the format thing. It was like, okay, and you had stations start basically separating, going, okay, we're just going to play this genre, we're just going to play this genre, and that's kind of where I think they lost a lot of us. A lot of us went to albums. I was mowing lawns and trying to buy albums like Aerosmith, Draw the Line.
Well, I was going through that right at that time when I was getting the Fool, Do You Think It's Over?
Yeah.
That was also when a lot of the prog rock Kansas fans from the early stuff.
Yeah.
We're going, Dust in the Wind? Okay,
Yeah.
It's okay, but I've heard it a billion times.
Yeah. That was it, because if you kind of ignored the radio or didn't make a habit of it, or for whatever reason, it wasn't, in your daily ear, and you were buying music to listen to, you were selective about, okay, I'm going to get, because you had to buy the album. I mean, you could buy the 45, but, that always seemed to be kind of a moot point for me. It's like, well, I'm probably going to like more than just the one song. The only time I bought a 45, I bought my mom the song Evergreen by Barbra Streisand for her birthday. And I remember that. I was a kid. I remember we lived on an Air Force base, and I bought that for her because she just loved that song. But otherwise, we would go buy these albums, and you would listen to all the other cuts. It's really how the band Rush kind of, I mean, they weren't getting radio airplay. Nobody was playing anything by Rush, and we just kind of discovered them, and a lot of the prog stuff, happened that way. But
well, they made it after the radio station in Cleveland played them.
Yes, but it wasn't getting Bee Gees airplay. They weren't getting
nothing.
We had to get. No. You had to go look for their music.
No,
I remember listening to Fly By Night, and it was just different. It was like,
it got a lot of Rush got a lot of airplay in Buffalo after it did Cleveland. You heard Rush a lot. You heard the early albums you even heard quite a bit in the late 70s. You heard them, but I think maybe a lot of the border cities picked up on Rush of Canada, before a lot of the rest of America
San
did.
Antonio actually, because even in Del Rio, you could hear, you would go to San Antonio quite a bit. You were listening to a lot of San Antonio radio, but their rock was kind of that way. I'm always amazed at how many Canadian bands were getting airplay in Texas when I was young, and as I grew older, it was like I didn't know that wasn't normal. Rush, Moxie was getting a ton of airplay, by comparison.
But they weren't anywhere Moxie wasn't, because it's well known. They were huge in San Antonio back then.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Yep.
But
Yep.
when you look at it, Chris Rhea, I mean, it was just, I just posted on Facebook, which is why I talked about it, and people, it's like, send me messages. Fool, Do You Think It's Over was one of my favorite tunes, but he died, I think, yesterday at the age of 70, 74 or something.
74, yeah.
He just always seemed older to me. And when I found out a few years back that he was a British singer, I was like, really?
Yeah.
With that voice just didn't come across as British, did it?
Right. Well, his and some of his stylings actually didn't.
No.
I mean, for he was a great guitar player.
But Driving Home for Christmas is such a great song. So that was sad. When I saw that yesterday, I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear that. The formats for all the streaming services for so much of music and radio stations is so narrow.
Yeah.
Like you never hear
right.
Driving Home for Christmas
right.
in the States on any radio station.
No, you don't.
You just
No.
don't. And I think of other stuff like that, what is it? Greg Lake's song, Father Christmas.
Father Christmas, yeah.
We used to hear that all the time, when I was in college. And
we
after
played
college.
We played the daylights out of it in radio.
Yeah, and it's not on any list.
Yeah,
and I don't know why.
Yeah, these days you don't hear it, but yeah.
Why not?
I don't know. That's, to me, it feels like a classic because it's been around for so long.
I'm talking as a radio programmer now, not that my personal likings of it.
Right.
Driving Home for Christmas is a great tune.
Yeah.
You tell me that doesn't...
Father Christmas, same thing, yeah.
You tell me it doesn't fit in with the 30 or 40 Christmas songs that are pounded down our throats each and every year.
Right. Yeah.
Not that those aren't great songs.
Mariah Carey, several years in a row, has gone back to number one with All I Want for Christmas Is You. And tied for a record of 19 weeks now, not consecutive, but 19 weeks total at number one with that song.
And I was reading, too, yesterday that Driving Home for Christmas in Great Britain hits the charts every single year.
Yeah.
At this time. It goes back right up.
This is why artists actually do Christmas albums. Because if you do something original, or if you take a public domain song and do your own arrangement of it, and your own arrangement can be just slight variations, it's a big moneymaker and seller every single year, and people love it. So it works. The audience, the fans love it. People love the music. And if you do a really good Christmas album, then it's going to pay repeatedly for you. It's going to work. It's going to probably set the tone. Brenda Lee. I mean, you think about, that really put her rocking around the Christmas tree, really helped to catapult her, into stardom. There was just an article I read yesterday on that. It's wild. But, yeah, it's the one thing you got to do. You got to do a Christmas album.
Yep. We are Red Eye Radio.
This morning's USDA Farm Report is brought to you by House Products. Tested, trusted, guaranteed since 1920.
What might weather look like where you are and where you are going travel-wise for the days leading up to Christmas? According to USDA meteorologist Brad Rippey,
we will be focusing on a mild pattern for much of the country, except across the northern tier. Limited precipitation in the central and eastern United States.
There is potential of light snow or drizzle falling in parts of the Midwest, moving into the Northeast.
Not a significant event unless you happen to be on the roads at the time that some of that freezing or frozen precipitation is falling.
While stormy weather is expected in parts of the West leading up to Christmas Day,
especially central and northern California into the northern Rockies.
While much of the same conditions are expected in the West on Christmas Day, with travelers there contending with rain, snow, and perhaps high winds. While outside of the nation's northern tier, good traveling weather for much of the country. I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
This report brought to you by Cenex Fuels and Lubes.
Coming up, more with Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. It's Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Merry Christmas. I'll tell you, though, on Friday night I did watch, I have to watch it every year, the Brian Setzer Orchestra.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to tour, and they didn't this Christmas. Apparently, he had more medical problems. But he's just one guy that it's like, doesn't matter whether he plays Christmas music or his regular music. There is no difference. It's not like some bands get uncomfortable playing Christmas music.
Yeah.
Brian Setzer can play anything.
Right.
And it's still just Brian Setzer.
Right.
And it's still just incredible music.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of the Christmas, the Christmas feeling to it and all that, which is just mind-blowing.
It's like Michael Bublé. It's boring either way. I'm just joking. Just a joke.
He is anything. Setzer's anything but boring with that guitar, isn't he?
Yeah, no, it was a Bublé joke. To all the Bublé fans, I'm not necessarily going to apologize, but it was a joke.
Eric said it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one thing if you want to catch it. I just came up in Random Shuffle on YouTube, and it was really, really great.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have commercials on YouTube, which
Right,
makes a
right.
total difference when you want to watch some kind of show, but it just happened to come up a couple of weeks ago, and I saved it, and I watched it when I was doing housework the other day because it's a kind of housework kind of stuff. But it's the entire Charlie Brown Christmas by the Vince Guaraldi Trio, done by a Milwaukee band called the Commercialists. And it's basically the entire album. And it's just a piano, stand-up bass, and drums.
Yeah.
And they kill it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Love
Vince.
that.
It's the Vince Guaraldi Trio.
Yeah.
And they
I
even
love
call
that.
it a Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's only like 58 minutes long, just about an hour long.
Right.
But they go through the entire album. They extend
Wow.
some stuff out,
Yeah.
and it's like, this is great.
Yeah.
This holiday season, give the gift of the Red Eye Radio app. Merry Christmas from Gary McNamara and Eric Harley. Red Eye Radio.
Now, that's a great gift.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's a better gift than that, the Red Eye Radio app.
It's, first of all, it's free if you act now. It's also free if you act later, but it's free if you act now. And everyone in the family will not only love it, but agree with 100% of everything we say.
And the best part is, if you're traveling somewhere,
Yeah,
someone can still give it to you as a gift,
that's right.
and it's not going to increase the amount of things you have to bring back,
Right.
so you won't have to check in any luggage.
It is TSA approved. Now, by that, I will just insert this disclaimer. Don't actually have it playing on your headphones while you're going through TSA. You need to take the headphones out and all of that, and also listen to the TSA agents. They're working hard. So beyond that, it's TSA approved.
That's the worst thing I have every year, because I've not checked baggage in, I don't know, 15 years at least.
Right.
I just don't do it.
Right.
I was very generous. My brother was very surprised a few years back when I said, let me buy a set of golf clubs.
Yeah.
He looked at me and he said, you want to use these when you come back, don't you? And I went, yeah.
Yep.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, it
No
works.
objection to it at all. It's like, I just hate it. Well, the thing is, you come back, I don't know about, I know DFW the most because that's where I had to wait for the most luggage my entire life. But it can be 45 minutes to an hour before you get it.
I haven't experienced that in a long time. It used to be the case.
Yeah.
But I have to, if I'm traveling for business, I have equipment that I have to check on. And it's, obviously sometimes it's longer than, one time we had to, coming back from one trip, we had to wait on the tarmac because of lightning in the area. We couldn't get off the plane. But then we got off the plane, and it's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and all the baggage handlers had gone home. So they had to wait for them, enough of them, to come back and help those, a few flights that had been delayed basically on the tarmac. We had to wait. And so it was probably, a total of, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours that I waited. But I rarely have to wait but a few minutes anymore. I don't know what they've changed, but
yeah,
it is.
Mine was, last time was 15 years ago. That's golf clubs.
Yeah.
And golf clubs are oversized.
Oh, my
and,
gosh,
And they were
yeah,
like they were the last things that they put out.
Yeah. And other airports, it can be a lot longer.
Yeah.
Even just on small luggage.
So I tell people, my sisters are, you can take this. I go, look at this. I'm there for 3 nights. So it's 3 changes of clothes and in a carry-on. And so it's like, if I have to wash something, I will, but it's like the maximum that I can carry.
Yeah.
Is 3 days plus everything else that I have in my other bag. And it's like, no, don't give me, I don't want any gifts.
Right.
Don't give me any gifts.
Right.
Don't.
Yes.
Don't give me anything that I can't carry. There's still a coffee cup she gave me, this huge coffee cup that's still at my dad's house. And I'm like, just drink the coffee there with it. Because
There you go.
I don't want to bring it back. But looking at a couple of things here as when we talk about the end of the year here, and I chuckled yesterday. Did you see the polling that was out? The one polling that was out, the insider advantage, showing that Trump's approval rating is at 50%, and disapprove is at 41%.
Right.
And you look at that and you say, okay, is that an outlier?
Mm-hmm.
Probably for a poll it is. There was one poll last week where it was RMG Research where Trump's approval was 50 and the disapproval was 49, but 9-point approval doesn't exist that's the only poll that shows that. Now, insider advantage has been accurate in the past. Rasmussen, we normally look as the benchmark for Trump because they've been very, very accurate, but they don't show a bias towards Trump. I mean, Mark Mitchell doesn't. In fact, obviously he likes Trump and has told Trump, we brought it up a couple of weeks ago, you got to start paying attention.
Yeah, last month, in fact, he was invited to have lunch with the president at the White House. So clearly there is some value there that the president, Mark did comment that, he didn't seem as interested in some things, but of course that's always going to be the case. But I think he does value the work done at Rasmussen Reports.
Right, and that's
to a certain extent.
Right, that's at 45%. He's underwater there.
Right.
45%. He reached his lowest numbers in Rasmussen about a week ago when he was at 43.
Yeah.
He had never been at 43 in the second term. But the point I was trying to make was, you see, the insider advantage where Trump has an approval rating of +9. The other poll that was done yesterday, disapproval +23. So there's a 32-point difference in those polls.
Bit of a swing.
Which means what? Somebody isn't doing correct polling.
Yeah.
There's no way the two polls that are done, statistically speaking, if it's done fairly with a close representation of the political parties in the samples, that anything should ever be a 32-point difference.
Right. Well, the one poll of the 9%, I don't know, and I'm like, okay. I don't, because these things are ever changing, and so many things can, or even something small you don't think about, in the moment, can change these polls. But getting back to your point, it's methodology.
Yeah.
And
which is accurate.
And that's everything. It's everything. And so you and I look at it, when we look at election polling, well, you can only see who's accurate and you don't find that out until after the election. All right? Who in the final days, because it does change, of course, but in the final days, who was closer? And Rasmussen Reports has a very good record. And, so we lean towards those who have proven to have a methodology in place with that gets accurate results. Nothing is going to be 100% in polling because you're talking to people, and those respondents, you and I have a greater standard because we would have to qualify them by saying, name the three branches of government.
Right.
Or in a presidential approval poll, name the current president.
Yes,
just
exactly.
start by naming the current president.
And so, looking forward to next year. We've been talking about that the last couple of days, and talked about it's a good thing that the Republican Party and the conservative movement is having the debate of where do we stand, and challenging anybody who wishes to associate themselves with the party or the movement who is an anti-Semite or racist in any way, where they don't belong. And I'm glad that it's happening. And also on fiscal policies with what's going on at the think tanks, I think that's a good thing, too. You need to examine in a serious way, in an intellectual, economic way, the policies of every administration, economically speaking.
Yeah.
And so that's something that should be done, and there should be a great debate on that inside the Republican Party. Inside the Democrat Party, in fact, this was actually written by Karl Rove. Democrats' lessons from 2024, never mind. Hoping its problems have solved themselves, the party will not release its report on where they failed in 2024. The Democratic Party announced last week that it won't publish its long-promised after-action report examining the party's 2024 defeat. Chairman Ken Martin ordered the report shortly after he was elected in February. It included 300 interviews with top Democrats in all 50 states. Mr. Martin now feels its release would be a distraction. After all, Democrats easily won the New Jersey and Virginia governor races last month. They've overperformed in special elections. Why dwell on 2024 when 2025 has gone so well for the party? The report would have been incomplete anyway. Mr. Martin had already announced that it would skip examining both Joe Biden's choice to seek re-election at 83 and the key decisions of the Kamala Harris 107-day presidential campaign. How could any substantive analysis of the Democratic loss ignore these topics? The notion that Mr. Biden would hit his stride in a second term was obviously absurd long before his disastrous June 2024 debate. Even a shallow dip into Ms. Harris's campaign would have revealed unwise spending and critical errors. To diminish criticism about the buried report, anonymous DNC officials fed reporters snippets of the party's findings. Democrat door knocks were badly targeted. The review discovered peer-to-peer text messaging programs were ineffective. Officials perhaps hoped that these tidbits would suggest that Democrats are grappling with their loss and correcting past mistakes, but these hardly were the party's most consequential missteps. As the Washington Post discovered, the report criticized Democrats' feeble response to voter concerns about crime and immigration. In the minds of many swing voters and even plenty of Democrats, the party drifted way too far left. It is enamored with issues far less important to voters than inflation, the economy, border security, and public safety. And that's why they didn't do it, because that's exactly what it hit. And they can't come out and say, look, we were wrong. They can't come out with a report now, especially after the victories that they've had, and say, we're not going to change on our immigration stance.
Right.
We're not going to change on our support for criminals, for illegal immigrants.
Right.
We're not going to change our minds when it comes to the misogyny of the radical transgender movement. We're going to continue to remain misogynist. We're going to continue to remain racist and continue with our identity politics. We're not going to even look at any of those. So that's what you see going on right now. The Republicans and the conservative movement seems to be having a serious discussion as to where they want to go. And the Democrats are like, nope, sorry, Republicans, administration, you're not paying attention to inflation. That's all we need to win. We're not going to re-examine anything that we've done wrong.
Right. No, they're not.
Am I wrong on that?
That's it.
A simple analysis of it? But
because, a great number of them, first of all, don't feel like those are missteps. They feel like everybody else gets it wrong, and where they are on the issues, is spot on. And that's been the case with a number of them for quite some time. They just believe they haven't gotten the message through to people. And on the economy, they're just going to point. They're going to do what we said the GOP should be doing to the left for years. You just have to point. And that's a problem. Going into 26, the honeymoon is over. But what would be tragic is, at this midterm, for the president to lose the House or Senate or both after the greatest political comeback in American history and not be able to get the agenda done.
And the fact that on most issues that the public is concerned about, in fact, every issue, except the economy and prices.
Right. Yeah.
If you take Trump's name out of it and just ask people on the issues, they support the Republican Party.
Right.
That's why the Democrats can't come out with it. The Democrats are banking totally on prices. That's it.
No, that's it. And it's something to bank on. It's the only thing they have, but it's a big thing to have. It is the one thing that will single-handedly, in terms of issues, take you down every time.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Get in touch with Red Eye Radio, toll free at 866-90-RED-EYE.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. And one more thing here, the polling that was done, the Daily Mail had a poll on the 2028 Democratic presidential nomination. Harris 30, Newsom 21, Buttigieg 7, AOC 3.
Okay.
Pritzker 3, Shapiro 4, and meanwhile on down. But Harris is up +9. All right?
All right.
Last week a poll was done by Atlas Intel. Newsom 35, Harris 8.
Wow.
So one of them is wrong.
Yeah.
One of them is completely and totally wrong. I mean, the methodology sucks. There is no scenario where in one poll a week apart, Newsom's at 35, Harris is at 8, and a week later, Harris is at 30 and Newsom's at 21.
Yeah.
And Ocasio-Cortez, who was 3 in the one yesterday at 3, has 16 in this one.
Uh-huh. Sure she does.
I mean, it's just that's why polls this early don't mean anything. Plus the methodology you have to question because polls are now being used to drive public opinion.
But also the discussion on the left, the talk about who it's going to be in 28 is also chaotic. So I would have to believe it deserves an asterisk because everything's so crazy for the Democratic Party right now. People may, sober up the next day and go, oh, no, I meant Newsom.
All right, give a point.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.